So I'm doing the Master of Arts in Ministry with an emphasis in children and family ministry. I've always loved working with children and youth. I was a music ed major. I've always wanted to teach in some way, and I wanted to just do that as part of the church. I actually had been teaching middle school choir for 5 years, but while I was doing that, I just felt that God was leading me elsewhere. I just didn't feel like I was impacting the kids the way that I wanted to impact them. Around the time that I decided to resign from teaching, we were expecting our first child. So when she was born, it seemed like a good time to resign. And so I was staying at home. There was a clear need for help in the children's ministry area. So I started to volunteer, and then I was working part-time. And as I was doing that, I just felt God really calling me to a ministry in some way. And so I looked at the options at the seminary. I was still working, doing in-home childcare at the time. And so it just didn't work for me to be able to go in person. It just worked best for me to do online courses and then attend for the hybrid intensives. The Models of Children Ministry was really impactful, and just trying to think about how is it that we are teaching and discipling our children? What do we want to be doing? What's our goals for teaching and working with our children? Because do we want them to just be entertained, or do we want them to also make sure that they are growing spiritually and having opportunities to take part in the church and become leaders in the church? Another class that I really appreciated was gospel catechesis, just thinking about how is it that we are discipling and what is it that we are teaching our children and youth. I'm the Family Ministries Coordinator at the Salvation Army. One thing that's unique about the Salvation Army at our location is that there's various ministries that are happening. There's not just the church congregation, but there's also a homeless shelter for women and families. There's also a daycare, and there's also a after-school Boys and Girls Club program. And so I'm able to work with those populations as well. All of a sudden, we have 2 families who have come as refugees from Africa within the past year. And so I'm learning Swahili, or I'm trying to. And so it's just, you never really know what God has in store for your ministry setting. All of a sudden, God kind of tells you, well, here's what you're doing now. And so that's been a really exciting opportunity to come alongside those families who are coming to the Salvation Army as their church and learning from them and just coming alongside them in ministry.